Hello everybody, welcome back to Fanblade. It's the second episode of the Frankencision build. I'm really looking forward to getting into this. I think it's going to be a fantastic instrument. Few great comments from last week's video. People loved the fretless sound of it. So did I. It was really good. They want me to keep it fretless. I don't know, but at the very least I'm going to try it with these new pickups and see how it sounds, because we have done major surgery on this thing. There's no chance that it's going to sound exactly the way it did. Hopefully it sounds even better. I will put it together and we'll play it fretless and we'll just see what direction we're going in and see which direction we want to take it after that. What's happened is that somebody's taken the frets out, they've filled the slots with wood filler, they've sanded it all back flat, and then they've not finished it with anything. There's no finish on here. This is raw wood. This is the driest piece that I've ever seen. So I'm going to be putting a little bit of my favourite polishing oil in there. It's actually furniture polish, but it's locally made and it's linseed rich, so it's good for wood. Basically, give this a drink because it's thirsty. Then while that's drying, I will put all the electronics together, then we'll slap it all together and see how she plays. Okay, so I've just spent 45 minutes looking for my multimeter so that I could figure out what all of this was, but then it dawned on me that it's actually right there. Everything we need to know is laid out. Essentially, we've got the red and white wires twisted together there, so they're joined. The ground and green are, well, they're twisted together, and then we've got the black, meaning what's happening inside this pickup is, if we start with the black there, you go round and round a coil, it comes out there. Then the end of that coil is joined to the start of this coil, which goes round and round and round, and comes out there, and we connect that to ground to complete the circuit, which is basically what we've got here. I was going to strip a little bit of that green off, because I suspect these have all just been cut. So I'll prepare these, tin them, wire it all up, and then we're pretty close to just putting the neck on and seeing how these pickups sound. Alright, that should all be working now. Keen viewers will note that there's no screws under this that's just bolted directly to the underside of the pickguard. That is because, there's just not enough height. There's not enough space on there to fit springs in. So currently there is no height adjustment on that. Like, if it's not immediately perfect straight out of the box, then yeah, I can cut a little bit more out of the pickguard and actually have the thing fully adjustable, mounted from the back of the body, because I do actually have some very long screws, it turns out. I've put them over there. Anyway, just going to make sure all of this is working, so let's plug it in and see if there's any noise that comes out of it. Cool. Neck pickup. Oh, no, I've got the switch on backwards. Bridge, neck. Excellent. Well, that's a bloody awful noise, but it's a very good result. Okay. Bridge, neck, strings, music. Right, it is sort of partially set up for playing. The neck has exactly the right amount of curvature to it, exactly the right amount of relief, but it's just on the wrong angle. I would think I would like to shim the neck and just tilt it back a tiny bit. The pickup height, miraculously, absolutely spot on. 4 mil, both of them. Sweet. Intonation is completely wrecked because, of course, I took the bridge apart to clean it, but everything's going to need adjusting anyway. The purpose of this is simply to see how it sounds. And through this amp, it's more than the amp can handle. So, to the studio. Every so often you get your finger in just the wrong place because this neck hasn't been levelled properly. That's both pickups. That'll be bridge pickup. There's a little bit of buzz in the neck. Maybe the setup does need some tweaking. Neck pickup. That sounds so good, man. It sounds really good. Cue the drummer. Okay, what we've learned so far is that the board is in bad shape. It sounds really good, but there's a few odd things on it. The electronics are all working, they sound great. I'm not a big fan of pickup selector switches, so I have found a blend knob, my old favourite. So, let's fret this thing. So here's a close-up of what we're actually dealing with here. This is this here is lines simply from me playing it for about an hour and a half. That's just that, like, this board is not going to last long in its current state. Also, wood fillers just crumbling and falling out. It's like wood filler is the wrong thing to use for filling fretboard slots. It's just not strong enough. However, I'm actually quite glad they've used wood filler in this situation because it's quite easy to remove. I mean, it's literally coming out by itself. When you're in a situation when you're refretting something that has been filled with wood veneer and superglue, it's a lot harder to recut the slot, because what you're dealing with is wood grain that's running this way, so you're making a rip cut in the middle of two pieces of wood that are going this way, and a cross cut is always easier on the saw. The saw is going to take the path of least resistance, and it doesn't want to make a rip cut because it's hard. You're gonna have problems cutting fret slots that are if there's been veneer and that's glued in there. The saw is gonna wander, it's gonna drift off, it's going to do strange things. However, we don't have that in this situation. I mean, literally, I'm just going to cut these slots like I would any other slot. Just come in with my knife and score a line, then raise a saw to cut the pilot slot. Then I'm probably going to level the board. Then I'll cut the final slots and then put some frets in. So I stand corrected. It's not wood filler. As far as I can tell, it's cardboard. I genuinely don't know what I'm seeing here. Either they've used a type of wood that's very, very soft, or wood filler has indeed sort of dried, or it's cardboard. Like, it's whatever they've used is still too soft and it is coming out in bits. But that does refine the process a little bit. I can just simply score a line down each side, dig a little bit out, and then come straight in with the final slot. That will actually speed the process up even more. This is good. Alright, here is the setup for sanding the board nice and clean. I had to take the tuners off so that I could clamp that flat. It's clamped in using these two screws here at this end to get it perfectly centered, and I've just had to sort of line that up and just clamp that down at that end because I can't get these screws here in far enough and still have the radius sanding block move past them. This is one of the hazards of using a jig that's designed for a board that hasn't already been carved. Now, the radius sanding block I am using is, again, homemade. There's a video about how to do that just up in the corner there, and it currently has 40 grit on it. That's a good starting point for most things, but I don't want to rip this board up too badly, so I'm actually starting with 120. One neat trick that I've discovered is that, because these are Velcro backed, you can just stick them straight on there. although I will have to trim a little bit off the edges because otherwise they don't fit in the slot. So yeah, we'll do 120. I've got these pads all the way up to 400. And after that, I'll probably just polish it out a little bit. I'll sand it all the way up to 1500, but I'll probably do that by hand because you're not actually removing material at that point. You're really just polishing the surface. So that's fine. We'll get it all looking nice and sweet. And I have adjusted it, so it's perfectly straight, it's perfectly flat, it's perfectly set up. We are ready to radius. Alright, that's looking really, really good. I'm really happy with that. That's dead smooth and looking lovely. I'm going to give the board a couple of coats of super glue just to seal it. Then that's fine, that's done, it's not going to dry out. I just want to finish this and then I can polish it out to a high shine. Then make sure the slots are clean again, and then we can put some frets in. So for fret wire, I have got a giant roll of this stuff. This is jumbo fret wire. There's about 8 meters of it here. I used to have a way of working out, sort of roughly guessing how much fret wire to cut off the roll, just by sort of, you take a measurement here and you take a measurement there and you take averages. The trouble with doing an average across the board is that it's not only getting wider up one end, they're getting more frequent up this end. So you need logarithmic formula this way, logarithmic formula that way, and I'm no mathematician. However, my dad is, and he's worked out that I need 1.176 meters of fret wire. So that's how much I'm going to cut off the roll after I've sealed the board. apologies if my voice has gone a little bit croaky. It is cold in here, and this project has taken a lot longer than I expected to be spending standing in a garage that's only 11 degrees. Anyway, we're on the home stretch. I just need to put a blend knob in the body, then make a new nut, and it's done at that point. You put it together and it's a bass. So I'll get that done, and we'll see if any of this was worth it. Well, there it is. I really don't have that much more to say about it, because I really don't actually, I can barely even talk right now. So, all I'll say is I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly have. I've got an excellent instrument here that I will be using quite a lot. In fact, this thing is pretty much, I'm just about to declare it my new Excalibur, so we'll see how long that lasts before I get bored. I should say as well, DFTBA is a website, and they do sell stickers, but it turns out they sell so much more, and they give 90% of their profits to charity, so good on them. that sticker is staying, whereas I am going. Thank you very much for watching, thank you very much for subscribing, and I'll see you next time. Bye.